Ready? Go.
Many things that mark your college experience are big projects, things like research papers and presentations. To do these well, you have to use the resources at your library. We've asked several students and from several libraries about the difference between doing these projects in high school and in college. Their responses will provide some insight on what you will be required to do at the college level. Hopefully you'll be able to take some good advice away from the people who have been there.
What do you think is the most important thing you learned since you have been in college in terms of research?
In high school, I could probably say what I wanted to say and get away with it. Here in college, like if I were to say, oh, well, this happened and I didn't cite it the exact way, the exact format, I could possibly fail and get kicked out, you know? So there's a lot riding on being absolutely perfect on, you know, having the right information and for the right topic and everything versus just, oh, well, it was a first time mistake, don't do it again.
At the high school level, it's not as demanding and more advanced, whereas when you get to college, they want more of you. They expect more of you because you're an adult and you're in an adult environment now. So you have to put more effort into it and you can't just run your way through it or leave it to last minute.
The most important thing about the research in college as compared to high school is citing your sources. Teachers in the high school don't stress it enough, and in college, if you don't do that, you can get a failing grade immediately.
I think you want to be a little bit more careful about not trying to be so opinionated when you're writing. You're trying to get across a point and not an opinion so much.
Yeah, in high school, the teacher pretty much gave you things, but in college, you have to do all the research yourself.
Compared to high school, you have to really research. You can't just go to the first site you see on Google, which I definitely have done in high school. And
what do you wish you had learned in high school now that you are in college?
I would have liked, when I was in high school, to have learned how to look up different research beyond Wikipedia and Google, because when I came to college, first day of class, I was told never to use those websites, and most professors, depending on who you have, will agree with that idea that you need to actually use database research or research that comes from scholarly sources.
I agree, and also I wish my high school had a database like ProQuest or something like that, because those are really good to use and it's more scholarly than just Googling, and it gives you the exact citations on there. And in high school, I wish that they would have taught us more about like MLA format, because in college you need to use those for almost all your papers.
Maybe more about like works cited and like citing your resources and things like that, because I don't know much about that.
Definitely to utilize the library more often. A lot of times in high school when we had to do research and stuff, it was something where the teachers had already got a lot of the materials from either our school library or from their outside sources, and it was just in class, so all we had to do was go to the front table and pick up all the stuff for the research.
I wish I would have learned how to research properly and know the correct sites and what is reliable. I'd also would have liked to learn how to cite my sources, because we did not go over that as much as you need to know in college.
I'd say using book resources more than online resources. Sometimes you get more information from books that you would be surprised that you can't get from online.
How do you plan your time to complete your research papers?
Time management, wow. I'm a freshman, this is my first year. I work part-time and go to college, so most of you guys will probably be doing the same thing. I would just say you have to put aside time to do all of your homework, because right now life is just busy, it's hectic, it's crazy. So to make sure you get an agenda, planner, you keep up with everything, your homework assignments, and I literally say an hour or an hour and a half each day, because you're always going to have homework almost every single night in college.
Number one thing I wish I did in high school more that I do in college now is time management. I balance my time wisely and don't leave things to the last minute, so I have time for myself, and also I'm not overwhelmed and stressed out.
Timeliness, don't get too in depth with it, but just don't definitely brush it off to the last minute. You generally hear teachers give you a week, 2 weeks to do stuff. So there's a lot of time that you can plan out to do research, and you have to break it up into segments. Don't go to the library and just say, I got to be here for 3 hours, try and figure something out. Break it up into smaller segments so you don't get bored or you don't get frustrated with yourself, but definitely time management with it.
What happened? What did I do wrong? What does this professor expect? I did everything, I copied everything just like it was online.
I'm Katie and this is Ken. We're college librarians. Guess you didn't do so well in that paper, huh?
How did I get such a bad grade? I mean, I used Google. What's wrong with that?
Well, this is college, and professors expect you to know how to do research. Maybe you don't know everything there is to know about writing a college paper.
So come on and help me.
Sorry, the only person who's going to hold your hand in college is your girlfriend.
We can help, but it's really up to you. Didn't they teach you anything in high school?
What did you do wrong? It's more like what we did right. Look at this thing.
What are you guys?
They're your parents. They're students who know how to do research.
Only we know how to do research and write papers.
Hey, I know how to do that.
Oh yeah, that's obvious. Dan isn't having a good day. He needs help passing this course.
Aww.
Okay, we can work with him, but let's try to get him to understand what he did wrong. It's not too late to learn how to write a college paper. Let's start with...
Where'd you get your information?
Well, I used Wikipedia.
You do know that professors won't accept Wikipedia as a resource. It's not a bad place to start to get a basic understanding of your topic, but we need to take your research to the next level.
How do I do that?
Don't you know about scholarly sources?
Like Time or Newsweek?
Not quite. Does the term peer-reviewed ring any bells?
I'm not really sure. Where do I find stuff like that?
In databases.
Oh, I think I know about them. Were those the same ones we used in high school?
Maybe, maybe not. Check with the librarian.
Databases are good for finding reliable and current information. Your professors expect you to use databases for your research. Look, we know that college research can be really frustrating. That's why we're here to help you.
But don't let it intimidate you. But you have to ask for help. We can't read your mind.
Okay, so I have this paper on advertising and childhood obesity. Where do I start with that?
Believe it or not, books are a great place to start. You can get ideas for searching in the databases, and you can also get background information on your topic.
And to answer the question about databases,
Starting to get the picture?
Okay, so everything I need to write a good paper can be found in the library or on its webpage, and the librarians can help me out?
Now you're getting it.
Wow.
Something just dawned on you?
Yeah, I should have listened to my high school librarians.
Yeah, you should have.
it's not too late to talk to your college librarian.
What do your professors expect from you in terms of research? For example, resources used, quality of work.
They expect me to go more towards the books. For example, my public speaking professor wants us to have at least 5 resources for our next speech that are not off the internet. So they're relying more on the library.
Professors expected scholarly research going further than just the first search engine you get when you hit on Google, and they expect you to have formatted papers, whether it's MLA, APA, and to use the actual research in your papers and to have research to back up your ideas and thoughts, so it isn't just your thoughts out on your paper.
And she basically covered everything, but they expect proper citations when using any outside source. Like in high school, you could get away with putting in something like, oh, I read in a book, but in college, you can't do that because it's plagiarism. So you have to make sure that you're educated on how to cite sources, and the librarians here can help you with that, or your professors can.
College professors are a lot more strict than high school. If they want the format to be like this, like it has to be exactly how the professors want it, because we do get points marked off and it's very dramatic. So
I'm a freshman, but so far what I've gathered is in my first year here is that they expect nothing but the best, you know? Like they expect that what you're writing is, you know what you're talking about, you know? And if you don't, then you have the common knowledge to go and to look at other people who have written on that subject and not steal what they're talking about, but borrow information. And of course, give them like the respect.
They want to know exactly where you got your information and that you can fully understand it and put it in your own words.
Peer-reviewed journals, especially I'm a PT major, so we want it to be accredited by a board, valid research study, and have good results.
What do you think is the most important thing you learned since you have been in college in terms of research?
The most important part about research is actually knowing how to use the databases and citing both MLA and APA citations, in-text citations, and doing a bibliography page.
The most important thing I've learned about research is that it's very important when you're doing your papers, because that's what professors look at the most. They want to see where you got your resources from and that you didn't plagiarize and that it's in your own words. Professors love own words. When you could look at something and think about it and put it in your own words, that's good.
One of the most important things I've learned coming to college is that if you need help, ask. There's a lot of knowledgeable people that can help you with whatever you're looking for.
What advice do you have for incoming freshmen in terms of library research in college?
Not to be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to go towards the books to learn instead of just using the internet.
Start your research ahead of time. It's very important. You can't just do it the night before like you can get away with sometimes in high school. You have to start ahead of time in college, because the essays usually are more than 5 pages, so if you don't start early, you're not going to finish your essay.
The advice I give for incoming freshmen coming into the library is probably to ask librarians and other staff for help and references as to where to go and what databases are for what subjects.
And I agree, and also pay attention when the librarians come in to talk to you guys about using the research, because I know they did that my freshman year, which is very helpful, and just utilize the different systems we have on the library website, because they're really good for research and your professors want you to use them.
I would just have to say that to make sure that your sources are valid, because you don't want to have to get points marked off for plagiarism, get a 0 for that. So just make sure that your information is accurate. Professors are smarter than you think. Like if you add something from the internet just because you think it's right, they'll be like, well, this is actually not right. Where did you get this from? So just make sure that everything you have, double check it.
My advice to them would be to get ahead, start early, use all your research, all your options, go to the library, talk to people that you know might know a little bit about the subject, and definitely check online, but don't use most of your usual websites, so no Google.
Yeah, and don't plagiarize, because you get terminated for that. And
my advice for incoming freshmen is that when doing research, make sure you speak to your professors, make sure you go to the library and take advantage of the resources we have in the library, or use the internet, and make sure you manage your time wisely and don't leave everything to the end.
My advice is to really pay attention in high school when you go to the library and they teach you how to look up websites and the sources, and pretty much just take all that information in, because when you come to college, you're expected a lot more than what you are expected in high school.
Read more than just the abstract.
Yes! I can do this.